So if I sound kind of cloggy, I am cloggy. I have allergies and crap going on. It's nasty stuff. But you still gotta do what you gotta do. I've got some medication, so I should be going back to school tomorrow, which is good for me because I hate missing school because it is incredibly hard to make up. And so another time there will be fewer videos because I'm busy making crap up and I'm sick all at the same time. So that's fine. Um, I had to make this video at some point. I love doing life stories, just talking about things that I kind of like and grew up with, because I don't get to do these videos often. I get to talk about a lot of things I like, right? I'll show off a Star Wars figure or something, or we'll talk Star Wars, which is funny because I'm talking my Star Wars right now, or I'll do a review of a movie I really love, or just different stuff. But rarely do I just get to talk about my experience with this property, like how I found it, how my love for it happened. Sorry about the noise in the background. And today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite things ever in the history of mankind, the Muppets. Oh boy, all right. This is a long one. This is a long one because I have grown up with this property since I was probably 5. I've had a lot more experiences with this property, more than freaking Star Wars. And we all know how much I love Star Wars. I think the reason I don't have that much Muppet stuff is that most Muppet collectibles are expensive because most of the people who like it are adults. And I think there are a lot of kids who like Star Wars and different things, but more so there are a lot of adults and older people who love the Muppets and stuff. So that's why I don't have really that much. The Pops I never really liked that much when those came out. I used to own a lot more stuff, but I got into the Muppets very, very young. I think I was about 5. And my grandparents, they live out in the desert. I'm not going to say where, because of course, I don't ever reveal your city online or where you live. Just don't do that. You can reveal your state because nobody's going to track you through an entire state. So they can try, but it's very, very difficult, highly unlikely that they will ever find you. So, and I'd stay out there for a couple weeks during the summer, and that was just kind of their thing. And they owned all kinds of movies I'd never even seen or heard of. I remember they were like, let's watch The Never-Ending Story. I was like, what the hell is that? That sounds stupid. And they put it on, and man, that movie was awesome. Like, I was completely engaged in The Never-Ending Story. I should actually own that movie, but I don't. Sorry, let me put this link in. Copy back. I still need to do a video on a lot of these movies, but I haven't had time. I'm still looking for my remote to my TV. Cannot find it anywhere. But, so I loved The Never-Ending Story. They showed me Fly the Navigator. Of course, most of these movies were on DVD, but as a little kid, I didn't care. I think I was 5. So what year would this have been? I was about... or maybe I was 6 or 7 probably, when I got introduced to the Muppets, not when I saw Never-Ending Story, Fly the Navigator. I think I was a bit older. I did watch The Last Mimsy, was pretty cool. They should actually have that on Blu-ray. That's a movie that's only been on DVD, and I thought I owned that, but apparently I don't. They showed me The Muppet Show, which, as a kid, I didn't fully get. Okay, The Muppet Show is kind of weird, because... I mean, I know who this guy is now, Elton John, but, I didn't know who he was when I watched The Muppet Show. I was like, what's with all these old people? These old people performing weird acts and stuff. But it was entertaining because I liked the Muppets. I liked those as characters, and as a kid, they're kind of animated, crazy personalities. I loved seeing them. And they showed me all the movies. Actually, they didn't show me all the movies. I think they just showed me a few. There were only a few of them. I know I saw Muppet Treasure Island, and I rewatched that one to hell. I mean, that one's still my favorite Muppet movie. I know I saw Muppet Christmas Carol, some other movies. I don't think I ever saw them all with them. I know I didn't. So, I became so infatuated with the Muppets, it was an addiction. One year for Christmas, I got this DVD set that came with like pencils. It was like a pencil set, like a little tinting, pencils, paper, Muppet stuff. It was like I watched Muppets show nonstop. In fact, those DVDs were scratched because they were such poorly made sets that they banged around in there, and how much I used them ruined those sets. And I hope that they actually make a complete series box set of the Muppet Show on Blu-ray one day, because it is an incredible series and very memorable. And my grandparents and my parents all got me into the Muppets and just these different things. I remember owning those DVD sets, which that set had like the Muppet movie, which I don't own on DVD anymore. I own it here on Blu-ray. Found this at Best Buy for $6. Great find. I also own Muppets Most Wanted. But these are the only Muppet movies I actually own. I need to get more, but now with Disney Plus, I don't think I'm going to worry about it too much. If I find them at good deals, I'll pick them up. But I really don't buy too many Disney movies because of how expensive they are compared to most movies I buy. And also, Disney Plus, all their movies on there, I'm probably never going to leave. So I own all the movies I actually can't get on a streaming service permanently, and I'm happy with those. But yeah. And so, I watched, what was it? The Muppet movie. Probably not one of my favorites as a kid. I think my least favorite out of that set was Great Muppet Caper. Man, I hated that one. I never watched that one. That one and Muppets Take Manhattan I never watched. Though I always remember the song, It's Good to Be Together Again. And that was great. I always loved that song. And in fact, they reused it at the ending of Muppets Most Wanted, because it's kind of a similar idea. I'll have to review all the Muppet movies one day. But Muppet Treasure Island was in that set. I watched those all the time. And as a kid, I didn't really notice the Disney logos on that, because I didn't realize, holy crap, Disney bought the Muppets. And I went, and I was on a trip out to the beach with my other grandparents. And this is on my mom's side. The ones who showed me the Muppets are actually on my dad's side. And we were out there. We were enjoying ourselves. And we left the movie theater. I don't even remember what movie it saw. This was back in 2010. So it was kind of a long time ago. But I saw this poster. And it was just silhouettes of the Muppets kind of like walking. It said Muppets. And I was like, what? I was like, what? I mean, I was hyped for this movie. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know it was happening. Of course, at the age of like, what am I now? I'm like 17 this year, so that's like 10 years ago. So 10 years ago. So I was like 7 when that announcement came out. 7 years old. I didn't keep up with movie news, okay? So I was pretty excited. And for 1 year, for my birthday, my grandma made this blanket by hand. She likes to sell and make stuff, so she made this blanket for me of the Muppets here, which is just amazing. I need to fold this up and put it in my closet, because I'm obviously too big for that blanket now. But it's just a cherished thing I have, because someone who is a family member of mine, went out of their way to make this blanket out of this thing I like, and they put all this care and attention to detail, and it's just an amazing thing. And I was just hyped. I remember when the sequel Muppets Most Wanted came out. I was there opening day. I owned the soundtrack to the Muppet 2011 movie. I owned it to Muppets Most Wanted. I listened to the hell out of those soundtracks till I scratched them and ruined them. Because again, I was a kid. I didn't care. And now I regret that. I also used to go to a lot more thrift shops, and I had a few Muppet books. I own Muppet Blu-ray CDs. I own every single Muppet movie ever made. Of course, I got rid of those because what had happened was there were a lot of movies in my collection that I owned on DVD, and they could be bought on Blu-ray. So I slid them out, intending to buy them on Blu-ray, and I buy things like that very slowly because I do not want to pay buco bucks to have movies I already owned. I want to have it on Blu-ray, yes, but I'll wait for a good deal to get it, and that's what I've been doing. Some of those movies were never released on Blu-ray, and I do regret getting rid of them, but I was not thinking when I did that, and there are a lot of movies I actually do regret getting rid of, because unfortunately I cannot watch some of these movies anymore, and it's not that I will never be able to watch them again. I just need to wait for the opportunity to get them again, and I have been waiting patiently, so. But with Disney Plus, they're all in HD Blu-ray quality, so I'll just end up watching them there, and I'm really excited for that. I'm a big Muppets fan. It helped me get into a lot of Jim Henson's work, like The Dark Crystal, Labyrinth. I remember I saw Witches, at least part of Witches. I turned it off because it scared the hell out of me. I never want to watch Witches again. Like, I was looking at buying it on Amazon the other day. I was just like, I don't know. I'm so freaking scared of that movie. I can't really even fathom watching it to this day. And I haven't even seen the whole movie. Like, I just saw part of it. But it just seems so freaking creepy. They're supposed to do a remake of it. I kind of want to watch the original and actually review it before the remake comes out. But I'm really freaking scared of that movie still to this day. And I'm not making this up. I'm really scared of that movie. But I love Jim Henson, his work. I love everything he did with his creations, the Muppets, Sesame Street. These are all things that I remember very highly. I was at the fair, and while I'm too old for Elmo, there was a little carnival game where you picked a duck and you could get a small one or a big plushie. No matter what you got, you won. And I was just hoping to gosh that I got the Elmo. And I did not. But if I had gotten that Elmo, it's a giant Elmo. It would be sitting in that corner over there. And I would have, I don't know how we would have fit that thing in the car. It was so big. But it was just like, Elmo. I love Elmo. Because I remember these characters from my childhood, I guess, so fondly. And I'm not even old enough to really feel nostalgia for things. I don't know. I just love those characters. And I just remember them from my childhood. And I have this warm feeling whenever I think about them. And I just want those things to be represented more in my collection. And unfortunately, there are not Muppet collectibles that are at good deals and good prices. I'm sure they're out there, but they're really hard to find. The Muppets are one of my favorite things ever next to Star Wars. I think I actually like them more to Star Wars. I just end up talking about Star Wars more because there really is just more to say about Star Wars than compared to the Muppets. But I love these characters. I love what they represent. I love what they've done for cinema, for art. Just, they're amazing characters. They're amazing stories. Jim Henson, rest in peace, man. You create a great thing. I respect everything that you've done. You've made so much great art. It's insane. And man, I cry just thinking that you're no longer with us. But I do have a Jim Henson pop. See if I can pull that out. There's Jim Henson holding current, which is just great. I love this figure. My favorite pop probably ever made, ever. I don't know. Man. It's really sad he's no longer with us, but just... Alright, I'm going to turn off the camera before I start crying. Over some talking puppets. But maybe they're just a little bit more. I really am going to start crying now if I don't turn off this camera.